How was your November INICET? Well, for a lot of you guys, it has been a confidence booster, but for a lot of you, it has also shaken your self confidence. Well, I have been getting a lot of messages from you guys saying, Sir, we have put our 100% efforts, but still we didn't get a dream rank, and now it's kind of difficult to get back on track. We are not able to figure out exactly how to rectify mistakes. We are lacking that self confidence that even after putting all the efforts, even after doing the best of revision, we still ended up making mistakes in the exam. And now we don't know where exactly to start from. What should be our strategy to prepare for the upcoming exams? So don't worry, I am there to help you. And before we go further into any strategy, I want you to realize what mistake have you made during the previous exam. Because only if you rectify those mistakes first, only then can you make any proper strategy. Because if you don't understand what mistakes you have made previously, you will end up repeating the similar mistake in this exam as well. So no matter what your strategy is, if you don't rectify the previous mistakes, you will end up in the same position. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the most common 5 mistakes you have made during this exam which has cost you your precious rank. Well, the first mistake was you prepared without a clear goal. Tell me honestly, how many of you had decided their branch before even attempting this exam, or before you even began your preparation? Or you were like, let me see how much rank I'll get, and after that, I'll decide what college or what branch I'll choose. If you are the second kind of person, then you will not get your dream rank because you'll not push beyond your limits until and unless you have a fixed goal. You need to decide what rank you need to get in the next exam. So, what I want you to do is set a target or set a fixed goal. Like, for example, I want MD medicine in AIMS Delhi, or I want top 50 in the upcoming INICET or top 100 in the upcoming INICET, and stick it on your study desk and make sure to look at it every day whenever you feel like giving up, because now you have a fixed goal. Now you know to what extent you need to push yourself. So whenever you feel like giving up, you see that and your mind doesn't allow you to give up. When your goal is clear, you will push beyond your limits and you will be ready to do whatever it takes to get that position. So please rectify this mistake. If you don't have a clear goal, set a goal today. That will help you get back on track the earliest, and it will help you push beyond your limits. Even though you don't feel like studying, when you see that goal of yours, you'll get back on track. The second mistake which you guys did was ended up in a last minute chaos. I had told you in my previous videos that during the last few days, you're not supposed to read anything new. But what happens, the fear takes over. When the exam approaches near, you feel you have forgotten everything and you get this urge to, revise all the important topics. And once you start revising the important topics, you feel the other topics are important as well. So you end up studying everything, but you remember nothing. You make this blunder and end up confusing your mind. Whatever topics you had studied until now, you even forget those things as well. So please rectify this mistake during your upcoming days, or when the exams are nearby. You're not supposed to study anything new. No new sources, no new study material, or no new topics. You're only supposed to revise whatever you have studied until that time, because now you have time for the next INICET. You have at least 5 months of time left for May INICET. So you can study all the new topics, all the previous year topics, and whatever you want until 1 month before the exam. And the last 1 month is when you'll revise only those things you have studied in these 4 months. If you couldn't study any topic in these 4 months, you're not supposed to study new things in that last 1 month. Whatever you have studied in these 4 months is the only thing you will revise in the last 1 month. Keep this in mind. So it's better to study a few topics and master them properly rather than studying everything and knowing nothing, because INICET will test your concepts and not just your memory. So make sure whatever you study them in depth, so that no matter what kind of questions come on a particular topic, you are able to answer it perfectly. So rectify the second mistake and don't end up confusing your brain in the last moments of the exam. The third mistake you did is you had a recall bias during the exam. What is this recall bias I'm talking about? See, you're supposed to solve the previous year questions and you have done it. I'm definitely sure you have done it. But what you ended up doing was you memorize the MCQs. And when you saw a similar looking question in the exam, you immediately ended up marking the same option which you had seen in the previous year question. You didn't go through the question entirely, or you didn't analyze what the examiner wants to know from you. Just because the question felt similar and you had solved a question like that in the PYQ. Like for example, there was a question on obstructive jaundice, let's suppose. You had solved a MCQ in the PYQ that a patient had obstructive jaundice and he had a palpable gallbladder, and what is the diagnosis? And the answer was periampullary carcinoma. Let's suppose a similar question has come in this INICET as well, that a patient had obstructive jaundice and he had non-palpable gallbladder. But you thought, yeah, obstructive jaundice, I have solved this. I know the answer is periampullary carcinoma. You had this recall bias. You didn't understand what the examiner wanted to know from you. You ended up making mistakes. And when the results come, you actually get shocked that I think I had solved everything right. Why did I get so less marks? Or why did my rank shoot up so far? Because you had this recall bias. So make sure the next time when you're doing a PYQ, you need to understand what concept is the examiner trying to test in that topic, and not just mugging up the MCQ and end up remembering what is the answer for that particular sentence. So rectify this third mistake, because this is the most common reason why most of you end up making a silly mistake in the exam. You know the topic, you have read it, but still because of this recall bias you end up marking the wrong option in the exam and end up losing precious ranks. The fourth mistake was you didn't train enough for the exam. That is, you did not give enough amount of GT, or you did not practice solving 50 questions in 45 minutes. There are time slots in the exam, right? There are 4 time slots and you have 45 minutes each, and you didn't train yourself for that time slots. You just prepared the PYQs, you went through all the previous year subtopics, revised it multiple times, but you failed to give GTs, or you failed to practice, or you failed to simulate the exact exam scenario. Please practice as many GTs as you can, or as many INICET pattern GTs for the upcoming exam, because you need to train yourself to sit through the 4 time slots. You have to remain focused during every time slot of 45 minutes. If you don't practice that during the real exam, you will end up wasting time in the first 15 to 20 questions, and you won't have enough time for the remaining questions, and that's when you'll end up making silly mistakes. So for the May INICET, I want you to solve at least 2 GTs every month, or at minimum of 10 INICET pattern GTs before you even attempt the next INICET. And the fifth mistake which you guys did was you let fear take over during the exam. And this is the reason which will differentiate you from a topper or an average student. For example, in the exam, the first 4 5 questions were very difficult. You didn't know what the questions were exactly. And once when you go through them, you let fear take over you. And you had thoughts like, I had studied so much, still I don't know this. I think I'm screwed. By November INICET is done. I won't get the rank this time. So in the initial 4 5 questions, you had this thought. And what happened? You gave the entire exam with this mindset itself. Even though the upcoming questions were easy, due to this fear or due to this doubt, you ended up making mistakes in those as well. And during solving the questions, you were like, maybe others are doing good. I think I'm not going to get good rank in this exam. So you need to train for this exact moment, because the questions are same for each and every one of you, and only those who remain calm even after seeing these kind of questions are going to be the toppers. That's the only difference. You see a question you don't know, you just skip it. You approach the next question with a fresh mindset, because you know what happens if one of your MCQ slot goes wrong. You let this self-doubt and fear take over you, and your performance level really drops down. Just because your first MCQ slot didn't go well, all your other 3 will also go in the same way. I'm definitely sure you must have faced this. So you need to train to remain calm during the exam. So that's what GTs are for. Try attempting a GT exactly as it is in the exam. Think that this is real INICET and I need to get that rank I've decided, and give it with that pressure itself, and train yourself to handle that pressure. So what happens slowly, you will give the INICET as a kind of a normal GT. You won't have this tension, or you won't have this fear that if one MCQ goes wrong, or if one time slot goes wrong, I can make a comeback in the next 3. Maybe this time slot was difficult for everyone, so I need to make sure the other MCQs or other time slots go good, because one emotional dip and your 20 to 30 marks are gone. So make sure you train properly for that, and in the next exam, you solve all the MCQ with a calm mindset. So, these are the 5 mistakes which have cost you a rank, and there can be other personal reasons as well, which you know better than me. So, make sure to rectify these 5 mistakes during your preparation for the next INICET. And before you fully begin to prepare for the next exam, I suggest you take a break, you relax your mind, and come back with a fresh mindset. Leave the past behind. Do not regret on the mistakes you did. I want you to learn from whatever mistakes you've done and come back stronger this time. So that's it for today's video. And in the next video, I'll tell you what your mindset has to be and what are the preparation strategy you need to follow during the next 4-5 months for the upcoming exam. Don't forget to share this to your friend who has also given the SINI CT and the rank was not as expected. Thank you so much for watching.